This is Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
It is the end of April already. Can you believe it? And there are only 4 teams left in our Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl tournament this season. 2 of them happen to join us today. That's how the game works. Last week you saw a fantastic game. Keith went all the way to the final question of the game to beat Winnebago and move on. We expect this game could be equally as close. Let's first welcome the Auburn Knights. Familiar territory for the Knights. The Knights again topped 400 points in their last game. They doubled up Marengo, 420 to 210. Alex led the way with 11 correct questions. Hope you stretched out your thumb today. You don't want to sprain anything. Sinesio is their captain. Introduce us to your starting lineup, Sinesio.
To my far right is Massimo, to my near right is Alex, and to my left is Luis.
Welcome to the Auburn Knights. Taking on the Belvidere Bucks. Let's hear it for them. Speaking of putting up serious points, Bucks did that too in your last round. Jack, I can see it in your eyes. You remember beating Pecatonica 290 to 150. David had 11 correct buzz-ins as well. So it looks like we've got some buzz-in champs on each of these teams here. This is the 5th time that these teams have actually faced off in 8 seasons of Quiz Bowl. Some of you may remember that. Last time was season 6 in the Final Four. Auburn got the win. That sent Belvidere to the first of 2 consolation championships. We'll see what happens today. Brand new year, brand new game. Everybody grab your buzzers. Let's start this, shall we? It's our buzz-in round, and the 2 most important rules. Wait for me to call your name. Say your answer loudly and clearly. Good luck, teams. Here we go. A true crime podcast launched in 2016 by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark is titled for My Favorite Example of What Crime? Sinesio.
Murder.
That's right. Just to be clear, it's not my favorite. That's the name of the podcast. You're first on the board. Auburn, nice job, Sinesio. Which man who was denounced in Cicero's Philippics was defeated at the Battle of Actium by Octavian's navy? Alex.
Mark Antony.
Correct, after committing suicide with Cleopatra. What church's scriptural canon includes the Doctrine and Covenants, the Pearl of Great Price, and a book, Sinesio?
The Mormon Church.
Yes, a book it believes was discovered by Joseph Smith. 3 in a row. What chemical element, whose name may come from a Sanskrit word describing its pale appearance as a gemstone, is the lightest alkaline earth metal? David.
Beryllium.
That is correct. The Sanskrit word is beryl, and those are Belvidere's first points of the game. Nice job, David. Chingachgook and his son Uncas joined forces with woodsman Natty Bumppo during the French and Indian War in what novel? David.
The Last of the Mohicans.
Yes, by James Fenimore Cooper. 2 in a row for Belvidere. What German philosopher wrote about the concept of design? Alex.
Heidegger.
Yes, in his book, Being and Time. What country was home to the composer of The Three-Cornered Hat? Sinesio.
Spain.
Yes, didn't even need the whole rest of that question. Depicted his country in the piano suite, Iberia. Auburn's got those points, and we've got a new question. What American impressionist showed a man, woman, and child in a... Alex.
Cassatt.
Yes, you didn't even need the name of the painting. The Boating Party, Mary Cassatt. What African country contains the mouth of the Zambezi River, which empties... David.
Tanzania.
Incorrect. I will finish for Auburn. Which empties into this country's namesake channel, which separates it from Madagascar. Alex.
Mozambique.
Mozambique is correct. Sometimes the early buzzer helps, sometimes it's a risk. What clothing brand, whose boomerang logo honors its Australian... David.
Nike.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Auburn. Its Australian origin has become synonymous with a style of small, constrictive men's swimsuits. Alex.
Speedo.
That is correct. Also contributes to a lot of experiences you can't unsee. 3 in a row again for Auburn. What father of Deucalion is bound to a rock and attacked by Luis?
Prometheus.
Yes, the eagle that eats his liver as a punishment for stealing fire from the gods. What politician from the Morena Party, often known by a 4-letter acronym? Alex.
Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador.
That is correct. The acronym was the easier part. You went the hard route. AMLO is that acronym. One man who is married to former Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao became Senate Minority Leader in 2021 and is a senator from Alex.
Mitch McConnell.
That is correct. You didn't even need the state. Senator from Kentucky. In 1871, the New York Herald hired Henry Morton Stanley to track down what Scottish missionary? David.
Livingstone.
That is correct. Went missing while exploring the African interior. What author used Harry Hope's saloon and the cottage of the Tyrone family? Senesio.
O'Neill.
That is correct. Settings for The Iceman Cometh and Long Day's Journey into Night. What planned city, whose Faisal Mosque is one of the largest mosques in the world, was built to replace Karachi as the capital of Pakistan? David.
Islamabad.
Yes, you got that. Those are your points. That's how we end the round. We are off to a pretty fast start here between our two teams. Auburn has 120 in triple digits. Belvidere has 40. Lots of questions answered. Still a lot more questions to answer. We have 3 rounds to play. Our volleyball is next. Oh man, what an exciting first round. This is rare, we had 16 questions answered between our two teams and not a single non-answer. So all the points were earned. Great job to our teams to start things off. Also, we were so excited, let's be honest, I was so excited to get into this game that I completely forgot one of my jobs, which is to allow Belvidere to introduce the team. So Jack, and I would say your starting lineup, but Sophia was just here, and Sophia is out. So now, can you introduce us to your starting lineup that I completely forgot to do at the beginning of the game?
All right, well, I'm Jack. On my far left is Angie. On my near left is Lindsay, and on my right is David.
All right, job taken care of. One more quick job before we get into points. Thank you to our judge, Linda Green, who is an IHSA Hall of Fame coach for Scholastic Bowl. She's been a longtime supporter of Quiz Bowl, and we couldn't do our jobs here without her. So thanks, Linda. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's jump into volleyball. Contestants, work as a team. In fact, it's encouraged, right? But all of the answers have to come from the captains. Auburn's getting our first volleyball question. That means, Senesio, you are up. You ready? Here's your first volleyball question this week. What body part, which resembles a cauliflower in a common sports injury, includes the 3 ossicles and was partly cut off by Vincent van Gogh?
Ear.
What?
Ear.
Sorry, I heard you. I was just being funny. You got it right. Fantastic. First points of the round. The jokes don't get any better than that, I promise. All right, we're over to Belvidere. Jack, here's your first one. A September 2021 bankruptcy settlement granted immunities to what family that ran Purdue Pharma, which is at the center of the opioid crisis? If you watch the Hulu series Dope Sick, this might have helped. It's the Sackler family. Back over to Auburn. What novel in which George Osborne plans to desert his wife Amelia and run away with Becky Sharp was published in 1848 by William Makepeace Thackeray?
Vanity Fair.
Yep. Also the name of a famous magazine. And we're back over to Belvidere. What name is given to the 1870s movement or struggle launched by Otto von Bismarck to reduce the influence of the Catholic Church in Germany?
Protestant Reformation.
Incorrect. Kulturkampf. That was a lot tougher question than it sounded at the beginning. We're back to Auburn. Argon diagrams depict what set of numbers that can be written in polar form or rectangular form, both of which involve real and imaginary parts?
Complex.
That is correct. You take those points. We're back to Belvidere. Chris Rock played Loy Cannon, whose crime syndicate clashed with Italian-American mobsters, on what FX anthology show named for a Coen Brothers film?
What's a Coen Brothers film? I don't know what a Coen Brothers film.
That film was Fargo. Back over to Senesio and the Knights. What building for which most of Daniel Libeskind's plans were scrapped is a 1,776-foot tall tower at the site of Ground Zero in New York City?
One World Trade Center.
That is correct, and the actual 1,776 feet is purposeful. It represents the year we declared our independence. Back to Belvidere. What geometric term describes 2 lines that are neither intersecting nor parallel? Those lines are skew. Back to Auburn. What play featuring the villainous Gessler includes a scene in which Walter stands still as an apple is shot from his head by the title Swiss archer?
William Tell.
That's right. Walter is his son. Back to Belvidere. What 1999 film with the lines, "I know Kung Fu" and "There is no spoon" features Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith, an enemy of Neo, played by Keanu Reeves?
The Matrix.
That is correct. You got that one, and that's the end of the round. We're out of time there. Matrix is everywhere. It's all around us. We might be in a Matrix now. Who knows? Out of time for the round. Halfway through our game, Belvidere has 170. Auburn has 170. Belvidere has 50. We'll take a break and come back with more gameplay with our lightning round, but first, you get to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question. We'll be back with the answer.
George Washington became our nation's first president after giving his oath of office from the balcony of a building on the corner of Wall Street and Broad Streets in what U.S. city?
Playing for a spot in our championship game, Auburn has 170 points, Belvidere has 50. Our lightning round is next, but first, I already saw this question if you're watching at home. Our contestants have not. It's the Bergstrom bonus. So it's a standard buzz-in. Contestants, the only difference is instead of points on the line, it's pizza from Lino's of Rockford. Grab your buzzers. Let me know if you know the answer to this. George Washington became our nation's first president after giving his oath of office from the balcony of a building on the corner of Wall and Broad Streets in what U.S. city? Angie. I'm sorry. Who is that over there? Luis.
Pennsylvania.
Incorrect. Belvidere. Go ahead, David.
New York.
New York is correct. Very good. You win the pizza. Nice. Normally there's applause after that. Actually, Washington took his oath of office on this weekend, April 30th, 1789. Congratulations, David. We're going to take another break and come back with that lightning round I promised you. All right, time for our Nika IBEW lightning round. Lots of points on the line. Speaking of points, Auburn already has quite a bit, 170, but Belvidere not too shabby either with 50 points. And Jack, you get first choice in lightning, so you know you could add to that score very, very quickly. Run the category. It's 100. Add it on. The categories this week for you to choose from are animal physiology, literary deaths, or Beatles lyrics.
Oh,
Do you know the Beatles?
Not really, do you?
No.
yeah, literally deaths.
Literary deaths.
You got it. Kind of weird. We started the game with a murder question, and now we've got a literary deaths category. All right, name these literary characters from descriptions of their deaths. So your answers will all be the characters. First or last name is okay in these, all right? So you don't need to know the full name. Name these literary characters from descriptions of their deaths. You'll have 60 seconds, and then Sinesio, you and the team have 30 for what's left over. Are you ready, Jack? Here it comes. Kills himself in a car accident, saddening the Loman family.
Willie Loman.
Willie Loman.
Correct. Captain who dies trying to harpoon Moby Dick.
Ahab.
Ahab.
Correct. Throws herself under a Russian train.
Anna Karenina.
Anna Karenina.
Correct. Killed by her husband Othello.
What's her name? Just like Petrarch or something?
Pass.
Her old wedding dress catches fire after a meeting with Pip.
Who's somebody else? Or High Expectations.
Pass.
Beaten to death by Simone Legree's slaves. Simon Legree's slaves.
Hester Prynne.
Hester Prynne.
Incorrect. Dies confronting his prematurely buried sister Madeline.
Pass.
Sent off to a glue factory by Napoleon.
Pass.
Shot by mechanic George Wilson.
Shot by Gatsby.
Correct. Stoned to death after, and I could not get to, there's not enough time to get to that last one. You have 4 of them right, so you added 40 points to your score, you're up to 90. Sinesio, there's a lot left, but you only have 30 seconds for them, and one question we've only got half read to you. Are you ready for your first one? 30 seconds starts when I send this your way. Here it comes.
We've got guesses for all of them, so I'm just going to go through.
Name these literary characters from descriptions of their deaths. Killed by her husband Othello.
Desdemona,
Correct. Her old wedding dress catches fire after a meeting with Pip.
Miss Havisham,
That's correct. Beaten to death by Simon Legree's slaves.
Uncle Tom,
Correct. Dies confronting his prematurely buried sister Madeline.
Roderick,
Correct. Sent off to a glue factory by Napoleon.
Old Major,
Incorrect. Stoned to death after a lottery.
Tessie Hutchinson.
That's correct, and there's nothing past to go back to. So if you added 5 to your score, am I doing my math right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So you're up to 220. The ones no one got, there's just the one, right? One that no one got was the glue factory was Napoleon. That was who, or I'm sorry, Napoleon sent Boxer off to the glue factory from Animal Farm. All right. I am moving too fast today. Slow down. This is for me. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take a breath. And I'm going to give Sinesio choice of the 2 categories that are left. Sinesio, it's animal physiology or Beatles lyrics.
Do you think you can get all of them? No, but I can do most of them. Okay, we'll go for it. We're going to do Beatles lyrics.
All right. Who is this on? I heard you say, do you think you can get all of them?
Maybe.
Is that Mossy or is that Alex?
Mossy.
All right. This one's on you, Massimo. Fill in the blanks in these Beatles lyrics. I will read the lyric with a blank. You need to fill in the missing word. Same rules apply, and then same rules apply to you, Jack, for the second run-through, if we make it that far. Sinesio, are you ready?
Yep.
Here comes your first one. Fill in the blanks in these Beatles lyrics. We all live in a yellow blank.
Submarine.
Correct. Money can't buy me blank.
Love.
Correct. Hey blank, don't make it bad.
Jude.
Correct. It's been a hard day's blank.
Night.
Correct. Yesterday, all my blank seemed so far away.
Troubles.
Correct. Something in the way she blank.
Moves.
Correct. While my blank gently weeps.
Guitar.
Correct. She's got a ticket to blank.
Ride.
Correct. Ah, look at all the blank people.
Lonely.
Correct. You may be a lover, but you ain't no blank.
Killer.
Incorrect. There's still time on the clock, but there's nothing left to go back to. That's the only one you didn't get. 90 points added. Jack, you've got 30 seconds for this last one. Poll the team if you want. This might be the toughest one left on the list. You have 30 seconds. Take all of it if you want, or just answer, and we can move on. You ready? Fill in the blanks in these Beatles lyrics. You may be a lover, but you ain't no blank.
What are we thinking? Loser.
Incorrect. It's from the song Helter Skelter. You may be a lover, but you ain't no dancer. That was we had some side bets going on whether anybody's going to take the Beatles category. And Mossy, nice job. 9 out of 10 of those. I can't look up because it's moving so fast. Sounded like your voice in there feeding down the line to Sinesio. Nice work. So Auburn's up to 310. Belvidere has 90. In our Mercy Health Final Challenge, though, every question is worth 20 points. So watch these scores change really quickly after this break. One more round to play. Winner of this game moves on to our championship game. The scores are not very close, but there's a lot of points on the line in this round. Auburn has 310. Belvidere has 90. Each of these Mercy Health Final Challenge questions is worth 20. Other than that, same rules apply as round one. It's a standard buzz-in. The 2 most important ones, wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Hands on your buzzers, teams. Good luck. Here's our first Final Challenge question. What second largest Hawaiian island is smaller? Luis.
Maui.
Yes, smaller than the Big Island, larger than Oahu. Auburn gets the first points of the round. What city, home to the Golestan Palace and the Azadi Tower, hosted the first World War II conference of the Big Three and is the capital of Iran? Sinesio.
Tehran.
That is correct. Alexandra of Hesse married what ruler who survived the revolution of 1905? Luis.
Nicholas II.
Yes, Nicholas II. Nicholas II will take that. Executed in 1918 after abdicating as the final czar of Russia. 3 in a row for Auburn. What abolitionist from Boston called the U.S. Constitution, quote, a covenant with death and published The Liberator? Alex.
Garrison.
Yes, he thought the Constitution was actually too pro-slavery. In what psychiatric condition, which has a rapid cycling form, do patients tend to alternate between periods of depression? Sinesio.
Bipolar disorder.
Yes, and periods of mania. That was the rest of that definition. China uses about half the world's supply of what power source, which in 2021, Xi Jinping said his government would stop funding abroad? David.
Nuclear power?
Incorrect. Auburn, these points could be yours. Brielle.
Solar power.
Incorrect. It was coal. China only has about 18% of the world population, uses 50% of the coal supply. Electron degeneracy pressure supports what compact objects left? Sinesio.
Neutron stars.
Incorrect. I will continue for Belvidere. What compact objects left behind by red giant stars, which are named for being small and initially very hot? David.
Neutrinos.
Incorrect. Those are white dwarfs. We could have also taken degenerate dwarfs. No points, new question. What author of The Devil's Dictionary included an iconic... David.
Milton.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Auburn. Included an iconic twist ending in his story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Sinesio.
Bierce.
Yes, Ambrose Bierce, one of the best short stories ever. What revolution, which was started by the Immortal Seven and culminated at the Battle of the Boyne, saw William III overthrow James... Alex?
Glorious Revolution.
Yes, James II in 1688 was the rest of that question. What author coined the phrase, better to reign in hell than... Luis?
Milton.
Yes, that one's Milton. Then serve in heaven in the epic about Satan's corruption of Adam and Eve, Paradise Lost. Gordon Brown and John Major were among the many future prime ministers to hold what British government post? Alex?
Mayor of London.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Belvedere. What British government post that leads Her Majesty's Treasury? That is a tough UK government question. The Chancellor of the Exchequer. And that's all the time we have for the round. 10 points shy of the highest point total so far this season. Auburn's moving on. You have 470 points. Congratulations, moving to that championship game, familiar territory for you. Belvedere, we normally say goodbye at this point in our tournament, but it's not goodbye for you because you still have a consolation game to play in, so we'll get to see you one more time. Smiling underneath your masks, that's fantastic. And then you will face whoever loses next week's game, which is between Keith and Belvedere North. Hope you can join us for that.